Disappointment after what happened this time last week. I know there was that defeat in midweek, but you were trying to build that momentum after winning the Manchester derby.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because in this context, it's hard to push for 2-3 wins, and we are trying. But this game was was hard on us. I think without any consider any situation, we suffer again set pieces. We were a little bit nervous. Also, the stadium in the beginning of the game, I felt it. But then we control the rest of the first half. We miss some clear opportunities, and then in the second half with a penalty, and then another goal is really hard on everybody here, the fans, the players. We tried to score some goals, but in the end was a tough match in a tough situation. So let's move on.
Tough situation, tough match. Did some of the individual decisions as well perhaps not be at their best today?
No, I don't see it that way. Of course, in the end of the game, you can see different things because you already saw the game. But if you look at the game, we were not conceding nothing before the first goal. Then we have a lot of opportunities. If we manage to score one goal, the game should be different. And in this kind of moment, everything is really hard on us. The set pieces, then the penalty, and then we want to score again, but we are too nervous, we want too quickly, and that's it. We have to fight this.
And also the vulnerability as well, because from the moment after the penalty was scored, I think it was only like 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and they go and score again.
Yeah, it's that kind of moment. You feel that you are near the more to score than to suffer another goal. After the penalty, we need to control better the game because we already know that this situation is really hard, and we get a little anxious and nervous, and you want to do something right away, and we have to control better these moments, especially in this phase of our team.
How do you combat that nervousness and that edginess that comes from within the players and get that better to help you perform better?
It's just to work on the way we play. That's all. To give them something to do. To focus on the job, not the moment, not in the what you feel in the stadium. Just focus on the job, what you have to do when the ball is in one place, in another place. Is the only way I know how to help my players is to focus on the job, just that.
Another opportunity coming in a couple of days' time as well against Wolves, and you hope to try and put some little things right for that one, don't you?
Yeah, of course. And start again. We will get to suffer again in the game. We'll try to win it, and that's it. Like you said, sometimes too many games is too much, but sometimes you need another game to go again. So we'll do it until the end.
It is well and truly underway, because that was another disappointing day for your former club.
Yeah, very disappointing. Again, too many mistakes, and it doesn't really look like a team. So when they had the opportunities at the end of the first half, didn't take those chances, and then eventually, they go 2-0 down, 3-0 down very quickly after that, and it just looks like they're giving up. Just from that moment on, it just looked like the players individually tried to do something, I don't know, just to show them in a good light, but again, just so disappointing. 3-0, 4 times they've conceded 3 goals.
At home this season, and 2 of them now under Ruben Amorim. Let's have a look at the goals, Peter, because we'll start with the one I think that frustrates you the most. Another set play.
Because it's simple, you just have to do your job. You get told what your job is, you do it in practice. Zerzi, I didn't mention that at half time, but of course he should be tighter. But Bruno's not in the right position. He should be there, either blocking the space or heading the ball if it comes in low. What he does is he goes forward, and then he's out of the game. But then when you look behind Zerzi, you got all the defenders just stood there, and it's just disappointing that it happens. It's a 9 timeout, 9 out of 19, no, 9 out of 20 goals conceded up until that point was on set pieces. Yeah. And it's a simple thing. I don't like to talk about back then, but if you conceded 3 goals in the season, you felt you had a problem. on set pieces, because they are simple things to defend against. But very disappointing.
And the second half, they'd actually had a few opportunities, United, when Mazraoui was a little rash, to say the least, inside the penalty area.
You're being kind, Steve, saying a little rash, a little stupid. I mean, what on earth? What on earth are you doing? I mean, he's going into your players. There's 2 players waiting for him there. He's going towards the line. He's not going to score from there. You dive in. You just got to stand on your feet. You've got to usher him away. It's just a poor decision. Clive Eart's got a fantastic penalty record, and he coolly slotted it away, probably watched the goalkeeper and then turned his foot into the other corner. So, and that was the sad thing for Manchester United nowadays is they go 1-0 down, 2-0 down. You never really think they're going to come back. It just doesn't happen. They're just not a very good team. But what Amorim's got to make sure now, that's not a wasted game. Everyone can say, oh yeah, 3-0, we lost, no points and all the rest of it. But it can't be a wasted. He'll be watching with eagle eyes and making sure that these players that are not performing, they won't put on a red shirt again. And he's got to be that brutal and that ruthless. So wasted. Yes, you might not get any points, but something will just sink in there and think, OK, that's fine. We'll see what happens in a couple of weeks or 5 or 6 months.
We should give credit to your former club as well. And Semenyo, who you spoke about prior to kick-off, getting another goal. Lovely move again.
So it's an amazing move. I think it just sums up Bournemouth, to be honest. And even if you take it back, it sums up Man United in terms of how they play and the commitment. Mainu could have sort of got rid of it, but just a goal. And you see, Semenyo there, there's no movement really. He just sort of just backs off a little bit, just hits around a penalty spot. It's a great cross, and then just a nice clean contact and that. But they deserved it. But that man again, his numbers are good. 5 league goals. And they deserved it. They were the better team throughout. Man United just not good enough. Too easy to play against.
And Manchester United next in action on Boxing Day. They go to Molineux, Wolves away.
So welcome into our Premier League studio with me, John Champion, Robbie Earle, Tim Howard. Gentlemen, there's our story so far today. Manchester United beaten again.
Yeah, I just look at this team and continually it's a work in progress, clearly. I don't think these players under Ruben Amorim are good enough to get to where Manchester United want to be. The leadership and the mentality piece for me is still missing. He's working on that. I mean, when you look at Xerxes as a striker getting hauled off at 55 minutes, he's obviously not doing the business because the manager doesn't want to do that. A soft penalty given away by Mazraoui. I mean, Bournemouth were good value for that 3-0 win. They played some good football, again with a set piece. They've conceded the most set pieces percentage-wise in the Premier League. That's simply a mentality aspect. I look at the faces after the final whistle. They're standing around dismayed. No, clap the fans and get in the dressing room because you have to work hard and you have to put in a better effort. There's nothing to be dismayed about. There's still a lot of work to do.
I mean, in a wider historical context, these are indeed strange times for Manchester United.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the narrow of the last few years, actually, these are fairly familiar scenes.
They are. Welcome to Manchester United. This is what it is, and Amorim has got work to do.
Into who he can sign, how much he has to spend, because they're not good enough at the moment for Manchester United. And we talk about Marcus Rashford not being in the squad. He wouldn't have made that team any worse today. I think they had their chances, they had opportunities, but it was comfortable in the end for Bournemouth. And how often do you say that a team like Bournemouth will go to Old Trafford, Manchester United, and be comfortable? And it could have been more in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we started the show, didn't we, talking about Marcus Rashford, Jay, and Darren quite rightly mentions the transfer window. If you're Ruben Amorim, do you think, OK, if I can get Marcus Rashford out in January for a good price, it might enable me to do a bit of key business and get players in that kind of fit my system a bit better?
Yeah, 100%. Like Darren said, there's not many players in that starting 11 today that you would say is comfortable playing in a 3-4-3. But also, I think Man United will be looking at that transfer window saying, who else can we sell? Who else can we get off the wage bill? Because there's players there that clearly don't fit his style of play. And I mentioned the likes of Casemiro. But then these players are on big money. It's like, someone like Casemiro for as well, didn't he? He done all right as well. But apart from that, you look at it and you say, where are the goals coming from? I don't see, as much as Højlund has done all right, he is not playing like, for example, Gyökeres, where he's making lots of runs in behind. And when you've got the likes of Fernandes that can play any type of ball, he's got that vision, he should be making them kind of runs, right?
Yeah. You look at the links, and Gyökeres is the name that springs to mind straight away, and you think, will he pick up the phone and say, come and join me? Will he want to leave and join Manchester United at the moment, or will it be in the summer? But there's definitely signings need to be made. However comfortable it was for Bournemouth today, you can't legislate for Mazraoui's challenge in the box. It's 1-0 at the time. They're still in the game. And then it becomes comfortable. They score. Justin Kluivert scores the penalty, and then Semenyo gets the third. And then it's a comfortable 3-0 again against Manchester United for Bournemouth. And I'm seeing on my screen now he's having his post-match interview, and I'll be interested to see what he says about his team today.
A lot of these, like that back line today, when you look at it, as you say, it's 3-4-3, but when they're defending, it's probably like a 5, right? Yeah. That whole back line probably hasn't played together in training, let alone in a game. So, like Amorim said, it's going to be a painful start, but you know that he's got a clear philosophy that he's going to want to play. He's going to bring those players in, and it's going to take a few years to get Man United back to where we all expect them to be. We're
going to hear from Ruben Amorim very shortly, but just picking up on what you said about Victor Gyökeres, both of you mentioned him. I mean, the ties between managers and players, when managers move on, we see it time and time again, don't we? Players tend to follow them, especially if they've done well under them. We don't quite know the extent of the relationship between Gyökeres and Amorim, but do you get that sense often in the dressing room that actually the manager's gone, that player might well follow? Do you get the sense in this instance?
Yeah, I do. I know that they won't want to sell him. They won't want him to leave because he's done so well for them. But 100%, as soon as Ruben Amorim had left and go to Manchester United, you know, in the change room, the players will be talking. There will be a bit of banter between players. Oh, are you going to go next? And, you know, in his mind, he might want a new challenge. He might want to come to the Premier League and join his manager. It's a good player. I think he'd settle really well into this team.
And also that Diamendi.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about him because he's been great defensively for Sporting. He's strong, he's fast. He's the type of player that you think that would do well in the Premier League because he's got the physical attributes. So it's not just Gyökeres that I think will want to come to, or he will want to come to Man United. I think there's a few players there that he likes.
Don't be mistaken though. I really like Ruben Amorim. No matter what's happened in his first 6 games, I think he'll bring success to the team. He just needs his own players to stamp his mark.
OK, so Ruben Amorim reflecting on that 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth. Darren, I mean, it's intangible, isn't it? Confidence is such a big thing. But he talked there about the players being a bit nervous. You could feel the stadium was nervous. You must have played in games where you've got that feeling that it's not quite happening for us. Just how difficult is that for a side?
It is difficult, but at the end of the day, you're professional footballers getting paid a lot of money. You've got to handle that pressure. Especially at a club like Manchester United, these players are good enough. They're all internationals. They have to handle that pressure. There could be a nervousness around the crowd, but you can't have that on the pitch. You have to go out and do your jobs, and that's what they're not quite doing. But look, Ruben Amorim, he's come in, he's trying to change the whole formation. Players are not used to playing this. It's going to take a long time. And again, it's going to take players coming in as well to kind of change the luck around the place.
I think the nervousness that they would have is that they don't play in that system. It's difficult to go, you know, they've had a pre-season. They've had a pre-season of playing a certain way. Now, halfway through the season, you're saying, OK, forget that, let's play this way. And some of those players are just overthinking things. Am I in the right position when the ball's in a certain position? Like, how far do I go up? Do I drop off? And I think that's what the players are doing at the moment. They're just overthinking everything, and then it becomes difficult. For me, as a striker, when I was playing, if I'm overthinking things too much, you end up not playing that well. Whereas when you just play your free-flowing football and you've got that confidence, everything seems to just come easier. Yeah, it's instinctive, Darren, isn't it? When you're playing, well, any sport, if you have to think about it too much and get the brain involved, it gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? And it's like they're trying to work a new system out. Yeah. And Ruben Amorim is trying to work Manchester United out. He's a manager that's not used to losing. He had a 100% record, didn't he, at Sporting, and suddenly he's come into this and he's losing. So he's learning, players are learning. It's going to take time.
Everything that is change takes time. Set pieces takes time. You spend hours on the training pitch with set pieces, and he'll have to spend hours on the training pitch of this formation and getting players to know their jobs. Because look, we know they need players, but you can't buy a whole team to fit this formation. You have to have these players, and they have to adapt to the formation. They're good enough, we know that. They're just a little bit off it at the moment.
Even when you look at City, when they first started, they had some poor results. They went through a period where it was difficult. You look at Arsenal the same. They finished 8th, then 5th. But then you stick with them and then things start to get built. Players start to come in. Players start to leave. Players let their contracts run out. Then you start having the players that you want in a system that can play your system, and that's when the success comes.
Frustrating, really, considering there were parts of that game where you played really well, but you've been punished by Bournemouth.
Yeah, 100%. We are very disappointed because I think we are playing so well. We create many chances, and unfortunately, we couldn't score. So disappointed. We have to adjust a few things, especially the set pieces, and we have to, I think, start the games scoring the first goal. So we want to work on that. I think we have a great coach. And a great group as well. Yeah, we have to put the chest now, for sure. In this club is unacceptable losing, but we are here to change things.
From the outside looking in, the performances seem to get better and better with each week that goes past, but you're not getting the results that maybe you deserve for those performances.
Yeah, for sure we deserve more. And I see a light in this club that I think we want to achieve that, and you see in the games that we are improving. We have to believe, and for sure it's hard to accept this kind of result. But I believe a lot in the staff and in our team, and we want to, how I said, we want to change this.
Just important now for everybody to get themselves right for Wolves, which is 4 days away.
Yeah, for sure. We now have to recover, and then we have to prepare well the game because we need points, and we want to change the situation. I'm 100% confident on that.
Leacher, thank you.
No problem.
Ruben Amorim's Manchester United reign lurched further into crisis with an emphatic and embarrassing defeat to Bournemouth that was greeted by boos at a half-empty Old Trafford on the final whistle. Andoni Iraola's visitors were full value for a victory that underlined the depths to which United have sunk and the enormity of the task facing Erik ten Hag's successor. The 3-0 win was a repeat of the result at the start of December last season and reinforced the fact that ten Hag's dismissal has brought about no short-term gain for United. They also still face the complications surrounding Marcus Rashford, who, for a third straight game, was left out of the match-day squad by Amorim for selection reasons. United fell behind just before the half-hour in depressingly familiar fashion, conceding from a set-piece for the 9th time in the Premier League this season. It came from a free kick, awarded for a foul on the wing by Tyrell Malaysia on Adam Smith, the latest in a number of errors made by the Dutch defender. Ryan Christie swung in the free kick and teenage defender Dean Huijsen was unmarked to head in from 6 yards, arriving between Bruno Fernandes and Joshua Zirkzee. So unimpressive was United's organisation that it was not immediately apparent who was responsible for the failure, but Zirkzee looked prime culprit. It was also, incredibly, the 17th set-piece goal United have conceded in the calendar year, a new worst mark in Premier League history. At least United showed some sort of response, in the foul wintry conditions, and could have been level by the interval with Fernandes presented with 3 good chances in the last 5 minutes of the half alone. First, he was set up by Amad Diallo for a shot which he screwed wide from 15 yards. Then Kobbie Mainoo's assist, following a mistake by Huijsen, so Fernandes draw a good flying stop out of keeper Kepa Arrizabalaga. Then, after United threatened from late first half corner, Fernandes ended the period with a shot that just drifted wide from 25 yards. Amorim rang the changes, 3 of them inside the opening 10 minutes of the second half, and there were some moments of threat from the Reds, notably from a 55th-minute corner which Lewis Cook did well to clear from under his bar. But the situation worsened on the hour when Patrick Kluivert sprinted into the area and was tripped from behind by Nasser Mazraoui, a penalty decision by referee Craig Pawson which VAR confirmed. Kluivert, who recently became the first player in Premier League history to score 3 penalties in the same game at Wolves, made no mistake with a cool finish. 2 minutes later, a bad afternoon turned positively catastrophic as Bournemouth scored a third after Mainoo gave the ball away in midfield. Antoine Semenyo broke upfield before finding Evanilson, who timed his pass perfectly for Dango Ouattara to run onto. The winger selflessly picked out Semenyo in the area and, with Lisandro Martinez rooted to the spot and failing to close him down, Semenyo swept in an excellent finish. Alejandro Garnacho, dropped along with Rashford for last weekend's derby win, came off the bench and could have pulled a goal back when played clean through, but hit his shot straight at Kepa from the edge of the area. Fellow sub Rasmus Højlund also forced a good save out of the Bournemouth keeper, begging the question why he had not started the game.